It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Good evening, everybody. Very, very warm and nice welcome to our last edition for the season of Monday night shows. I must say a special welcome to everybody who's coming here from the Gooner Talk TV. There's a lot of them on the chat, all putting TGT and all that. So you're all very, very welcome here. I hope you've liked and subscribed. And thank you, Tom, for the shout out and directing people over. Much appreciated. Lev, how are you?
I'm good. Apart from your stupid hair, Sheen, everything's all right. Well, other than where we finished. If it wasn't for your stupid hair, we would have finished fourth. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, guys, it hasn't been the best of finishes to the season. Sorry, before I go forward. Tom, how are you, my friend? You good?
Yeah, I'm on a great hair day, so I'm enjoying that.
Very good.
No, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, man. Not bad. It hasn't been the greatest of ends to the season, and we all must give our commiseration to Lev, who's managed to finish bottom of the pile in a prediction league. So he will be taking myself, Tom, and Mo out for dinner at a cost of £200, which has already been agreed. And
wait, 100.
What do you have to say about that, Lev?
No problem. 195 of that will just about feed you. I don't know what the other two are going to be eating.
No, why would you say that?
Because
it's not. It's
listen.
I know you're going to take us to like a kebab shop, like a caravan or somewhere like that.
You get to pick. You won.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I won. I get to pick. If I picked, my man need to take out a loan.
Oh, if we went to KFC, we could get shitloads for 200 quid. I was just saying.
You're right.
We ain't going to KFC.
You could eat for the rest of the week. But on another note, I wish it was.
Do you fancy anything in particular?
I love that Lev's just like, I can never finish a sentence on this podcast.
I can't. It always cuts me off. Him and his stupid hair.
Finish what you were saying.
No, not on your terms, on mine. No. All I was going to say was this. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be a last day surprise where something happened, something magical happened, and we were going to go for a celebratory dinner. Instead, what we're doing is we're just going.
Did you predict an Everton win? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But it was a strategic.
Yeah, well, it didn't really.
I should have gone for 5. I should have gone for a ridiculous. I should have gone for a ridiculous scoreline like 5-1, shouldn't I? There you go.
Yeah, well, people, let us know on the chat, or if you're watching the show after comments, any nice restaurant suggestion. It's 4 of us, so about £60 per head onwards.
Love some beige food, yeah, just beige.
So £60 per head onwards. Nice restaurant. Please give us some suggestions so Lev can take us out for dinner. Anyway,
so I love the fact that was the most exciting part of the entire podcast for you, and you dropped that first thing. You couldn't even wait till the end, did you?
I'll be waiting for this all day, Lev. You lost.
There's a lot about our season that doesn't it really.
You're going to take us out, nice dinner.
Yes, Shaheen, we're going for dinner. We've got the point.
I'll think of a few places. So,
and if you hadn't guessed already, Shaheen's going for dinner, everyone.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Thank God.
Tom, what was your thoughts on the game? The 5-1, the meaningless 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it was obvious that was going to happen, wasn't it? It was so obvious that we were going to just comfortably come to a stunning win that we would have absolutely have rather seen that performance on Monday. It's really frustrating. It's great to see us play well, obviously, but in the context of the situation, it sucks because it shows you what we're capable of doing. That said, Everton as a side were not really that bothered because they were safe, and it wasn't an Everton side that I feel would have probably turned out had they have needed to get something from that game to keep them up. And that certainly would have played a factor. So it's a really difficult game to kind of, analyze in terms of what it means from a footballing perspective. But from a wider context perspective, it is just frustrating, that this season promised so much and, ultimately has delivered probably what most of us expected to happen at the start of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll come back to you with regards to that. Mo is on holiday, so he's not going to be with us tonight. But I remember when we started this prediction league, we also predicted where Arsenal would finish this season. I don't think any of us got top 4. I think I said 6th or 5th. I'm not sure.
I think Mo said 6th to 8th or something like that.
Huh?
I think Mo said something like 6th to 8th or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know where Mo is. I mean, I forgot to ask him about that table, so I'll ask him. I'll put it on Twitter or something. But yeah, Lev, what was your thoughts on the game?
Oh, to be honest with you, other than the fact that my prediction was riding on it, wasn't really that interested in it. I'm not going to lie to you. And the reason for it is, whichever Arsenal turned up would have infuriated me. Whether it was the Arsenal that got spanked because they couldn't handle it, or in this case, they had an Everton who had already given up because they've already completed their season. So
it was. Would you say that was a full strength Everton team? Because they had Begovic in goal, Dele Alli was playing. These guys don't normally get a.
Listen, I don't really care about whether they're the full team out or not. To be honest with you, I don't care about Everton. I care about my club, and to be honest with you, what I was looking for was something that would maybe prevent me from paying £200. Instead, all I got was a team that decided to show up for this day.
You know what?
I love
They've
that.
cost
I love
me
that you're annoyed.
the whole fucking season. They have cost me emotionally, mentally, physically, and now they're costing me financially. So,
Lev, had you got that result right, you would have been splitting that bill with Tom, because you finished on 7 points, Tom 10 points, Mo 12 points, and me.
How did Mo get to 12?
Do you know what? I want to.
No, you got 12.
Tom was second last week.
So sorry, you were splitting that with Mo.
I don't even think they got my results right, to be honest with you. But I could go back and check.
Sure, they didn't. Isn't it?
If anyone can be bothered to check the videos from the previous results and come back and tell me if those points were correct. Either way, I wasn't fussed. I knew there was a possibility Arsenal could turn up and do what when there's no pressure on. Well done, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was one of those games that caused a bit of frustration at the end of it, because you'll sit down and you think, well, if you guys can turn up and play like this, why not? A few nights ago, where it mattered. When it mattered, it didn't matter against Everton. Everton was safe. We knew it was securing. By half time, I think everybody knew that Tottenham is going to do Norwich, and that's the end of it. And these guys, lo and behold, they turn up, put 5 past Everton for the first time. I think under Mikel Arteta, we scored 5 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
We scored. Didn't we beat Norwich 5-0? Did we beat Norwich 5-0?
In my mind, that's the only time we've got, because normally it's 2-1, 3-1, things like that. But that's for a big scoreline, and there's nothing at the end of it riding on the game. No pressure, nothing at stake. And as you said earlier, Tom, Arsenal turn up when it doesn't really matter. There's nothing at stake, which is really frustrating. There's a few things about this that frustrates me even more. And I'm not saying this because I'm not Mikel Arteta's biggest fan, but I just found it very strange that our manager pre-game is saying we're all gonna be supporting Norwich, or we hope that Norwich is gonna do.
Why weren't you?
No, I would be ashamed to say that, because I would look at myself. No, I would look at myself. Big ego. Like, no. I'll be like, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was points clear of everybody else, and now I fucked this up so bad that I'm now sitting here thinking, I'm hoping Norwich does the job.
He's not going to say that, though, is he? He's not going to say that. Can you imagine that?
That would be brilliant. I'll tell you what, that would be box office. I'd love to get a manager that just goes, I was fucking shit. I really fucking
No,
shit.
I know he's not.
I should have got fourth. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Don't keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Don't come out and say, as an Arsenal fan,
I think that's really silly, Shane. Obviously, he was going to say we're going to be back in Norwich because we needed Norwich to do us a favour.
Yeah, but don't come out and say it, man. Like, don't.
We got Ruben Neves on the pod tonight, people.
No, I just, it was not something I wanted to see. And yeah, we move on. Season ends. This is an interesting one, right? I wanted to talk to you guys about this. I've kind of sat back from yesterday, and I've tried to be impartial. So I've kind of left my bias aside.
You're doing really well so far.
You're going to be doing this on your own soon.
Well, you know I could do the same thing, yeah? There you go. Anyway, Tom, so we were saying... Anyway, let me just...
Next time you're going to get blocked, so you don't get to have any comebacks like this. Yeah, but anyway. I'll keep it cool, steady. You're the one who comes out with... Anyway, so I've tried to look at this from a neutral point of view, and I've kind of put my bias on the whole thing on the side, right? And I've seen us as a fan base, right? I've looked at a lot of people who having a go at another set of fans who Arteta in, if you like, and those ones are coming back with the Arteta outs that but with different arguments. I mean, some people are coming out saying there is an improvement compared to last season. Quite other people saying, well, no, this guy, when he took over, we were 5th. Then we went 8th. Now we're back to 5th. We sacked Arsene Wenger for this because he kept finishing top 4. There's no improvement. He fixed the defense, but we conceded same goals, maybe more than last season. On the other side, people come in saying, well, yeah, we were 8th. 8th to 5th is an improvement. If we had this team, if we had this, if we had that, and there's just bickering going on and on and on and on. And one, I don't like it because it's not healthy. We should be united fan base, but we're not now. So it's very strange, and I just want to see what you guys think about this arguments that has been going on, and then we'll come to the players and the season afterwards as well.
So Tom. Are you asking? Oh, right. I shouldn't have even bothered asking Tom. Really.
No, let Lev go first.
No, I'm fine.
It's social media, mate. It's always it's what's going to happen. You're never ever going to have a level playing field because there's always going to be two sides to everything. If we were winning like Champions Leagues and like if we were Manchester City and Liverpool fans, for instance, it just wouldn't exist in the same way. I'm sure that there is still some division even in their fan bases as well. You think about how Man City blew the Champions League this season. You think about how Liverpool possibly could have done more this season. Maybe, one more win and they would have won the league this year. So there's always going to be division. I think with the Arsenal side of things, it's because it being Arsenal Football Club, our standards are that we should be challenging for a title. We should be in the Champions League every season, and we haven't won a title since 2004. So, when you consider that, that's why I think that, the expectations are going to be different and range differently from fan to fan. So that when there is someone who thinks maybe perhaps, and tell me if I'm wrong, Shane, yourself, we should be by now with all the money that we've spent since the Cronkies are first involved with the club, we should be, up there with Man City and Liverpool. And, we've spent over £1 billion on players. So I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you. After spending £1 billion, absolutely we should be up there and a lot closer than we are. But yeah. From my perspective, we've made so many mistakes since 2007. So many regressive decisions have been made. Even the appointment of Arteta in the first place, from my perspective, was a huge gamble. Bringing someone in with no first team coaching experience from that position at all was a massive, massive gamble. And it may pay off. It's not paid off yet. It may pay off. There's some signs that it could pay off, but that's why you see the division. Why there's so much abuse of other fans, I can never get my head around. I mean, I think people need to
I agree.
look at themselves, to be honest.
Yeah, but, I agree. The abuse is about people can disagree. I mean, me and you disagree about quite a few different things, but we never comes to a point that we abuse each other or anything like that.
Not like you and Lev do.
I think,
no.
Sorry?
Not like you and
what
Lev
he was
do.
saying about you on Friday.
No, but
mate.
I mean, it's not really. You can't really have a debate or a conversation with somebody if you start abusing people. What about you, Lev? Where do you stand on this whole arguments
I'll tell you what.
But you know what, Lev? This is the first time that I'm seeing that both sides of the kind of argument, and I'm sitting there thinking they're both right. They both have points.
Yeah.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there, because I try to question myself sometimes, because on one hand you can say we didn't make top 4, horrendous, we should have made top 4, but then on the other side you're trying to sort of level with yourself in a way, because you've one win away from making top 4. One win, we were like if we had taken, when I say one win, maybe one win and a draw, I don't know, I haven't really looked at the final standings, but had we not lost all 3 of those games, the fine lines between making that top 4 and where we finished are crazy, insane. But at the same time, you could look at it, and just like Tom said, some people will turn around and say you're crazy. We've seen improvements because we finished 8th and now we finished 5th. But prior to that, when he took over, we were 5th. When I look at how much money we've spent and I look at the mistakes that were made that's prevented us from making top 4, that's where this board have got me. Tom hit the nail on the head by saying gambling. We gambled like an alcoholic gambler that you find at William Hill's during the day when we were all working, going out to lunch. He's sitting in there. We gambled the January transfer window. We gambled that badly and lost. And it was a long shot gamble as well.
Lev, how many times in the past 3 years, right? At least me and you in private conversations, we've said, fuck, they've done it. They've taken a gamble here, man. Yeah. How many times are you going to take these gambles? Why not play it safe once and not gamble? I mean, look, we can't talk about the past and say ifs and buts, but summer transfer window is coming, right? The last thing we need right now is for them to take another gamble of such. I don't know what it would be, but why not? Why they didn't go in the summer? I mean, look, I'll be very honest. I'll speak on behalf of myself, not any of you guys, right? If I can see that we're short, right? If I can see that Lacazette and Nketiah are not an answer, and at the time in January, we had an opportunity, right, to maybe get a striker even on loan or get a midfielder on loan, beef up a little bit, because at the end, the prize is significant. Champions League football, the money that it brings, the prestige that it brings, the doors that it opens for you in terms of signing players, right? It's huge. And if I can see it and if I can acknowledge that, why can't people who are supposed to be professional and qualified and get paid a lot of money to make this decision? It's these things that infuriated me. We could have gone on a run and say, oh, you know what, we went on a nice run. We came short at the end. I can see things was done. But from the position that we were, positive goal difference, games in hand, points on board, like the last thing we should have done is exactly what we've done. And we bottled it so bad that we ended up finishing 5th. And again, I go back to the point that I say earlier, that there seems to be no accountability for that. It's happened, and the attitude is that we never planned to be here. It's all right, it's happened. We move on. What if it happens again next season? Because next season, the improvement on this position will be Champions League football. And I don't want to go on and on, but
can I just say
these
something?
are just my points.
Can I just say that there's people in here like, who was it? I think Thievius Slick, who says Lev still whinging, overall successful season, still very happy and looking forward. How? Right now, look, let me just ask this question, right? And I'm a logical guy, and I want my team to do well. And had we struggled and we didn't spend that money and we weren't in that position to take top 4, maybe, just maybe, I'll say, all right, we finished 5th. We kind of were expecting it. But once we were in that position, surely as fans, you want the best. You want your team to go all out, especially when your biggest rivals down the road are competing for that spot. How can anyone be an Arsenal fan and think that, you know what, this was a successful season? It isn't. Because even if he has taken over from when we were fifth, right, and then we had those 2-8 finishes in his fifth again, he's only really taken us back to where we were when he took over. And it's a long-ass way to do it and a lot of money spent to do it, right? Had he just addressed the January window, which an experienced manager would have, we would have finished top 4. Tom's right in the sense of had we had Partey, Tierney, and those guys, not injured, Tomiyasu not injured, I agree. They might have pulled us through with those 3 additions. But we knew that Tierney was in and out all season. We knew Partey had already had a hamstring injury prior. These were all warning signs to say, you know what, these things could happen. So why didn't they look at that and say, let's not take any risks and deal with the January window so that we're not going to have this situation?
I'm going to come to these. I'm going to come to the points that you just mentioned. But going back to what I was saying, what's your thoughts on that?
What, in the sense of?
In the sense of
the gambling, or what?
No, in the sense of this has happened now, right?
Yeah.
We can't undo what's happened, right? In any business, right? People will sit down and they'll look at this, and there will be some sort of a consequence in any business, right? Now, I'm not calling for the manager to get sacked here. Let's get that right? But I just want to find out where the accountability is now with Arsenal, and what lessons do you think they would have learned out of this?
You need it to be deemed a failure for there to be a consequence.
Well,
and this is clearly not deemed a failure. No, it's clearly they haven't, and they already announced the contract after 3 back-to-back defeats. So why are you expecting a consequence?
Yeah, let me, just before I come to Tom, I'm sure you have a different view to me and you possibly. But Alvaro Palomino, thank you very much for your kind super chat, my friend. Any rebuild will be a gamble at the end of the day. We finished 5th. Emery had a lot of those players. We're at the prime. Liverpool bought a Chelsea flop and a whole City left back and took a lot of gamble. Yeah, but some gambles are calculated, some aren't. It's a risk, you know. Tom, what's your thoughts on this discussion?
Look, when you start using words like success and failure, it's always contextual, because is 5th for Arsenal Football Club success? No, of course it's not. It's not success. I find it very difficult to say this is a successful season in the context of Arsenal Football Club. However, when you start applying the context of what's happened prior to this season and where we are and what's happened during this season, I really wouldn't describe it as a failure of a season, because, this is where I expected Arsenal to be at the start of the season. And, I didn't expect Arsenal, to be honest, at all, and I don't think many of us did, to be in the top 4 chase this season, or to be, down to the final game and still being able to get 4th spot. I don't think many people expected that from Arsenal this season. It should be the expectation, for sure, in the context of Arsenal, of where we are. We should be looking to try and do that, but I don't think many people did, and the club certainly, I don't think, did, and we're maybe a bit surprised by that. As long as Arsenal are progressing, and moving forwards and trying to get back to where they are, as long as they're not going backwards, that's the way I want to view and what I want to back. I can't back something that's regressing, and I don't think Arsenal are regressing at this moment in time. I think we're on the right track again and we're moving forwards. The issue for me is that people, I think, will look at certain periods of time and say, look at the amount of money we've spent, look at where we are. And I think then ignore, everything that's gone before that's led us to that point. So the idea that we've spent, say, 250 million and we've finished 5th, those two don't marry together as singular facts, because you haven't considered everything that's led to the point before we've spent 250 million. We spent more than 800 million pounds before Mikel Arteta was appointed. And I can probably name, on using my fingers, players that was, progressed the team forwards from that 800 million. Could probably name you 10. I don't think you'd probably name more. And if you started to, I think it would be debatable. And that kind of shows you you're at a level where you're spending that amount of money and you're going backwards. You're not spending right. You're making poor decisions. You're appointing the wrong manager after, we move on from Arsene Wenger. And because of that, when we've spent the 250 million that we have, it's to try and recover and trying to affirm some of the mistakes that we made prior to that 250 million that we've spent. So it's not like you're starting from the position of a fourth place team that's then spent 250 million pounds. That's not what we were doing. We're starting from the position of a team that has regressed to the point of being 8th in the Premier League with a squad that's got you to that regression. And then you've spent 150 to 250 million to then try and arrest that slide and turn the needle back in the opposite direction. And that's why I look at the context of that money and how it's spent and think, right, from that 250 million, I like Ødegaard. Sorry, Shane. I like Ben White. I like Ramsdale. I like Gabriel. I like Partey, and I like Tomiyasu. And that's 6 players, off the back of that, when I was struggling to name 10 from 800 odd million quid. And it does show to me that I think that proves that from the squad building perspective, we're going in the right direction. And I also think, we are 1 win away from 4th. And as I say, we had Tierney and Tomiyasu and Partey for one of those games against Southampton, Palace and Brighton it was, wasn't it? I think we win one of them and we wouldn't be having this chat. And I don't think that any signing that we made in January stops us from losing our starting fullbacks. The fullback position was not something we were looking at. Chelsea were looked at as title challengers at the start of the season. They lost Ben Chilwell and they lost Reece James for a lot of the season, and their title hopes went down the drain. Losing that key position and those starting players, no matter if you're Arsenal or Chelsea, it costs you big time. So we did, and I think ultimately we paid the price for that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things, Tom, I'll have to disagree with because
yeah, that's fine, man.
It was Arteta who it was under his in management, if you like, that we went to 8th and we finished again on 8th. And again, it's also I have to also say there. No, but hold on. And I also have to say, it was again under his management that we come back to 5th. He won an FA Cup with the squad that he inherited. They played good football to win the FA Cup. I was really rooting for him at that time. I was actually I was actually one of the people who was involved in that plane that went above. Where was it? Aston Villa, I think, or somewhere like that. That says back Arteta or leave to Cronkies. But then I started seeing things from him, like mistakes, similar mistakes, and I'm sure you agree with me on that. That made me sit down and question the guy and see what is happening. There are certain things that has happened under Mikel Arteta that is good. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny giving him credit for that, right? So there has been things that has been good, but there has also been things that is very questionable. The biggest criticism that I have of Mikel Arteta is inconsistency.
Yeah.
And that is a massive problem.
Why do you think we are inconsistent, Shane?
That's a loaded question.
I don't know.
Every question's a loaded question.
It is a good question, but I genuinely don't know. I mean, some of them is down to him, dodgy decisions, dodgy tactics to team selections. Some of it is not. I mean, look, some of it is down to players being an idiot. Like, you can't blame Arteta for Rob Holding getting sent off at Spurs. You could turn around and say, yeah, he should have said this and the other. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a professional footballer who should know better as to where he is, what is at stake here, and he's not able to handle Song. So he should ask for help or say something to the bench that maybe they change things around. So that is my biggest criticism of him. And it comes to the question that Lev asked earlier: has this season been a failure? Ultimately, most of the arguments that I've seen on social media comes down to this question: has this season been a failure, or it has not been a failure? I mean, from a club's point of view, obviously it has not been a failure. But what is your point of view, Lev? Has this season been a failure?
You know what? I've been listening to
I'm sorry. I want everybody in the comments as well to let us know. Do you guys think it's a failure or not?
Yeah. Go on, Lev. Right. Thanks, Shane. Look, if anyone looks back on our shows all season, we have been supportive, we've questioned, but we didn't. I've never said get him out, Arteta out, and all this stuff. And Tom has made some valid points. And if I felt that we purely missed out on top four because we still have a young squad, which to add to your answer, Shaheen, inconsistency does come with the young squad, right? It does. However, it also comes when your senior players aren't good enough to help those youngsters, right? And the minute we lost Partey, Tierney, and Tomiyasu, that was it. We were going into our pool of average players that we had in depth, and that's why we come a cropper. So the way I've tried to rationalize this is ask myself this question: did we miss out because we got a young squad, or did we miss out because of management errors and failures? And there's umpteen amount that you could look back on with Arteta and say he made a mistake there. The January window made a mistake. The 3 games when we had lost Partey in midfield, he made a couple of mistakes that cost us badly where we needed those points. The game against Spurs when we went away to White Hart Lane, he made mistakes. Again, there's plenty of games. I'm sure there's others that people in the chats, please come out with them. Now, I am not saying that, he's not going to be a good coach one day. Yes, I do. I think he has a ability, and I know Hussein is his hugest fan and he can't do anything wrong. But at the end of the day, the way I've got to look at this is this. If he was somewhere else, like cutting his teeth at somewhere like a Burnley or a Bournemouth, like Eddie Howe did for a few years, look at Eddie Howe now. He's a good manager. You can see he's coming. It's early to say, but you can see he's got a bit of tactical nous. He's learned his craft. Arteta will be a great coach, but he's right in at the highest level, and you only need to make a few mistakes to cost you at the highest level. And I believe a better manager, had we addressed January, and a tactically better manager, would have got us top 4 this season. So based on that, I'll have to say it's a failure. When you're 4 points clear, as Arsenal Manic said, in his thing, when you're 4 points clear with a cushion and games in hand, and you blow it and end up losing 2 back-to-backs and then dropping out the top 4 race, I don't see how anyone can see that as a success. If we were 7th and we climbed our way to 5th, maybe you could argue, you know what? Our young team, we failed, but he got us up to 5th despite it. But that's not what happened, is it? We were in a position to achieve top 4 and we blew it. No matter what anyone says here, I'm not here to paint pretty pictures. I'm here to say it as it is. And I want my team to do well. And yes, I do think there's got a strong nucleus there, but a better manager would have got more out of it.
I saw, as soon as you said the season has been a failure, I saw Tom's eyebrow went up like this. So do you want to comment on that, Tom? And I'll give my verdict after that.
I just don't. It's not a case. I just don't agree with the point. It's just my perspective. It's just a different perspective.
That's fair enough.
Because the thing is that whilst I disagree, it's not like I don't think that what Lev is saying and all of what he's saying there has weight to it. And as I said, in my monologue a second ago, for Arsenal to finish 5th in the context of Arsenal Football Club in its history, no, of course 5th is a failure. So I can't. If someone turns around and says Arsenal finishing 5th is a failure, just as a broad statement, I'm not going to turn around and say, "Oh, I think you're wrong, mate," because Arsenal should be, looking to finish higher, and Arsenal are a club that should have the ambition to finish in the top position in the table. That should be it. But I'm just, from my perspective, I'm just trying to remain a bit more grounded and apply the context of Arsenal's situation and what's led us to where we are this season. Blowing it from the position that we were in, again, there's context to that. There's teams that have played certain teams, the fixtures that have still got to be played. Spurs' run to the end of the season, we all talked about how their run was always going to be so much easier, than our run. We did so many shows on that. So when we were so many points ahead, it's because we had played simpler fixtures that we were expected to win. And to be honest, I don't think many of us expected to go on that run where we played Chelsea, West Ham and United and won all 3 of those games. So when you see tables published after 28 games, it's a load of BS, really, to take that into context, because not everyone's played everyone yet. You don't. as people say, seasons aren't defined after. I remember we were talking in, I think it was Christmas time, and we were doing shows, and I think we were in fourth then. And you go, I think the comments were basically around, nothing's won in December, nothing's finished in December, and you're right. So why are we going back and looking at tables in December and saying about how we've blown it from that point? Because you look at the end of the season, once everyone has played, everyone had the opportunity to play every single team, and you go from there, and then you can have a conversation about what happened. And I will maintain that, the two factors that cost us top four, one was in our control, which was January. One wasn't, which was the injuries to key players. And we could have acted in January. And I think that Arteta, despite not saying it in the media, and I don't think he would, because, I think there is an element of not wanting to admit errors publicly that maybe he admits to himself behind the scenes. We don't know. And I can understand that. I don't agree with it. I think you should admit mistakes if you make them. I think it makes you more endearing as a person when you do. But it is ultimately it is what it is. I think when people talk about he's taken us back to where we are, I don't agree with that. Positionally, sure. But the fifth place under Emery was a fifth place in which we were going backwards still. This fifth place under Arteta is a fifth place that I think I look to next season with upwardly heights.
It's a positive fifth place, you're saying?
It's a fifth place that I think we build upon rather than a fifth place.
Can I ask a question then? If we see this as a positive and we all agree that other teams around us who failed to perform this season strengthen, not just around us, but above us, and we end up dropping back to 6th, 7th again, will you be looking back at this season and thinking that was a success, or are you going to be looking back at this season and thinking we had an opportunity to get fourth, get the better players in, strengthen ourselves? Because now when I was looking at Spurs yesterday, I didn't watch the game, but obviously they breezed past Norwich. They've got Son and Kane. The rest of the team was pretty average, in my opinion, and we were catching them. But now that they've achieved top four and we haven't, the caliber of players they're going to go for are going to be better than ours. And again, that gap could be bigger again next season.
I'm gonna come to this, Lev, and we're going to talk about the point that you just raised in details, and I've got some stuff that I want to go through that as well. For this segment of the show, actually, before I say that, we've got around 300 people watching, and then we've got only 78 likes.
Freeloaders,
which is ridiculous, guys. Come on, this is the last show we're doing this season. Please,
tight Tottenham fans in here.
I know, man. Hit the like. What's wrong with you guys? It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So please hit the like. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to Arsenal Lounge. Subscribe to the Gooner Talk TV as well. I'm gonna have to agree with Lev on this. I agree with Tom. Yeah, that had I been given a choice at the beginning of the season, right? And somebody said, you know what comes under the season, you'll be fifth, just missing out on top four. I would have taken it, right? I would have taken that at the time. The only thing that happened, right, that I look at this as a failure is things changed, right? And we were presented with an opportunity that we were in pole position of. It was in our hands. We could only fuck ourselves. Normally, fucking yourself is the easiest thing that you can do. But it was, you fuck things up yourself, and then you face the consequences. And that's exactly what we did. This is why I look at it as a failure. And the manner we've done, the game against Spurs, against Newcastle. For me, Tom, the Newcastle, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but the Newcastle game was, for me, worse than the Spurs game.
Oh, yeah. Because, way worse.
Yeah, because, there was something, that game was just poor. And I'm sitting down thinking over the season, the FA Cup exit, and then this whole playing with fixtures, COVID this, COVID that, which was not only us, everybody was at it. And then the way that the position we were in, and then the way it ended, for me, I'll have to look at it as a failure. And talking about Nick, because look, this season has happened. There's nothing we can do about that. He's got a new contract. We're not going to go anywhere. So he's not going to get sacked. Are you done, Lev?
See that?
Are you done playing with the chats and all this? Because we're having a serious conversation. If you want to read the chats, I can take you off. You can, be the moderator or something. Let me just read the super chat before. I know I missed another one.
Awkward. I'll come out for
Sorry.
a bit, shall I? Shall I go in the sin bin?
That's AK. Come on, you're gonna. He's just laughing at the background. He's gonna come in a minute. Can't get a feeling. Oba and Cedric let us down. Oba and Cedric, one by really dropping his level and the desire, and just the other one not being good enough for our club. Yeah, there's quite a few players, and we're going to do a show about this. When we're going to be discussing players, etc. So this season has happened. We need to move on. We need to look forward. We need to look at future, right? So next season, guys, we're going to be basically competing with. I mean, I'm gonna read the top 6 as it is now. Right, I'm not saying we're going to be competing with all of them, but because some of them is Man City, Liverpool, I don't think we're going to be competing with them. But Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man United. Okay, now out of those, right, United has had a very poor season. Okay, Antonio Conte has only been in for 6 months, and they're probably going to back him if he stays.
Yeah, I think he will January. Now he's got Champions League. I think
possibly. It depends. I think with Antonio Conte is about how much money they're going to give him, and if he can bring the players he wants. So I'm now looking at this, and I'm going to assume that Conte stays, and they're going to give him a bit of money to spend. It's going to be Champions League football. They can attract players. Chelsea, they've got a new owner. Man United got a new manager. I saw an interview that Glazer said, yeah, we're going to give him the money that he needs in order to get the new players we want. I'm not looking at this and I'm thinking next season, finishing in top 4 is going to be a lot harder than what it was this season. 100%. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
100%.
I've had this discussion privately with Tom. He didn't agree with me. I want to see if he agrees with me now.
Say that again to me. Say it one more time.
He wasn't listening.
I wasn't listening at all. I was reading the chat.
But anyway.
So you don't think this is just exclusive to Lev? You can be taken off.
I do it all the time.
Anarchy.
Go on, man.
No, basically, Tom, young man. I'll repeat it for you.
Oh, I got young man. Oh, I'm in trouble.
The top 6, all right, is Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man United. Right. We're gonna assume that Conte will stay. They'll give him a bit of money.
Yeah, I heard that.
Man United got a new manager. The owner said they're going to back him. Chelsea, they've got a new owner. They may be better. So finishing in top 4 is going to be considerably harder next season than what it was this season.
Yeah, on paper. Yeah.
On paper, yes. Because we don't know what future. Eric Ten Hag may flop. Antonio Conte may not work for him. He might have a fallout with Daniel Levy. He might leave before the start of the season. All of this is possible. Unlikely, but possible. Right? So I'm not looking at this and I think I'm just trying to look ahead, right? What do we need to do in order to be able to be in this mix and compete with these guys? Right? Because we're looking at a way forward now because the season is done. He's got a contract. There's no point for us to sit down and say, "Oh, you shit, get rid of him." It's not going to happen. So let's see. Yeah, exactly. Let's see what needs to happen in summer in order for us to be in this mix next season. Because we don't want to be competing with West Ham, Leicester, Brighton, Wolves, Newcastle. I've left Newcastle finish 11th. Could be a different game next season as well. Do you know what I mean? So I want to bring that on to you, Lev, to start with. But just before I do, Perry has been kind enough with the super chat.
Oh, I love it.
Just big up Tom, the legend.
Cheers, Perry.
Players like Jesus and Lautaro Martinez without Champions League football, will we spend big? Which is exactly what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. In short, some yes, some no.
Answer him, and then we'll go to Lev.
Yeah, I'll say Jesus. I think so. Lautaro Martinez. I think Spurs might end up getting him. So some yes, some no. It's a simple answer.
Which is going to be a problem now with no Champions League football. Lev, go on.
Yeah, I want to answer that, but before I do, I just want to address this. Look at this, very quickly. Sean C. Lev and Shaheen, please answer this. You talk like we have a God-given right to be top 4. Why? 7 clubs can get top 4 next season. 5th again is still damn good. The Premier League is a unique compared to others, I'm guessing he's trying to say. Now, Firstly, whoever said we've got a God-given right to be top 4? Hey, where have you been for the last 10 years? Where have we been for the last 10 years? We haven't been finishing. We don't have a God-given right to finish top 4. That's why when you have the chance to finish top 4, you got to grab it, because no one has a God-given right, Sean C. But I just don't understand that mentality that if we get 5th next season, it's still damn good. Because for me, that's damn average. Anyway, going back to what you were saying, Shaheen, the only thing, the way we'd be able to compete right now, and the only thing we have in our favor is that we are ahead of some of these teams when it comes to our progression and our development as a unit, as a team. We have a lot of youngsters that we've bedded in, along with some others not so young, but still relatively young, defenders and midfielders bedded in. So it does take time to gel as a team. So in that aspect, we're ahead of some of our competitors, perhaps the ones that have to dismantle, go out and re-sign players. Man United got to probably do a huge overhaul. Spurs probably got to do a bit of an overhaul. You know, there's a few teams that have to. So in that aspect, we need to take advantage of that now if we've got any chance. We've got a stronger nucleus than others, perhaps more developed as a team. We need to add to that now ASAP with some real experience, quality, and maybe, just maybe, that advantage of having a team that's ahead maybe a season or so than the others when they're trying to put together a gel inside may just give us another chance for another season before these guys ramp up. And that's the only way I can see us competing right
now. Okay. I've just put a little poll for you guys in the chat. Thank you to the young man Tom here for giving me direction as to do it. So I'll put a poll for you guys in the chat. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. And I've asked you guys, has the season been a failure or not? If you can let us know your opinion, we'll see what the result is. Tom, what about you?
I think if you'd have said at the start of this season, regarding just quickly on the teams are going to be where they're at, I think people would have put Man United as title challengers because of what they did and what they finished. They nearly finished 7th. Chelsea are going through this whole ownership change. We don't know what's going to happen. So we always say, like, this team's going to be better, that team's going to be better. Arsenal not doing whatever. But the ultimate thing is, it's football, and everything can change. It's really unpredictable. So we don't know. On paper, it looks like it's going to be a lot tougher. Let's just wait and see. In regards to what we need to do, to your question, to progress us forwards. In short, in my mind, we have to sign 7 players.
Did you think we will sign 7 players, Tom? This is exactly. You're the right man to talk to about this.
I'm not confident of 7. I think maybe 5. If we'd have got Champions League, I think maybe we would have got 7 because of the additional revenue. But it depends on player sales, of course, as well. And if we can move players like Pepe on, for a decent figure, Leno, how much is he going to go for? If we move players on, then maybe. But in my mind, to do it, we need 7. We need a goalkeeper. We need a versatile fullback that upgrades on that position. We need 2 central midfielders. One of them, in my mind, needs to be an experienced, quality addition. If Gundogan's available, I'd definitely go for someone like him. 2 strikers, whether or not Nketiah stays, I don't care. Just 2 strikers and a wide player as well. And that's, I think that's 7. Goalkeeper, 2 centre mids, 2 strikers, the versatile fullback and a wide forward. Yeah, so 7. And we need to keep William Saliba as another one.
100%.
And we need to make sure that, that we have eliminated this idiocy at times in this team, whether or not that's moving out certain players or not, whether that's Granit Xhaka being moved on or not, because, there are really moronic moments that happen in certain players' games. I think arguably you can move on plenty of that first team squad. And we need to continue to add this accountability. And that goes for Arteta. If we go into next season and we find ourselves 8th, by, I don't know, November, then we need to start having some serious questions. Because if we're 8th in November and we've added all these players that we're hoping to add, we shouldn't be. We should be close. And I mean, obviously, if it's a case of if it's really tight at the top and we're 1 point off, then we can have a talk about that. But if we're genuinely out of the top 4 race by November, December, then yeah, we can have a chat about the manager as well. And that goes for him. So yeah, all of those bullet points, I'd say.
guys, I'll put a poll on a chat, so please take part in that. Let us know what you think. I'm really interested to know what you guys are thinking about this, and please make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I think, Tom, the confidence of fans and the unity of fans should be a target for the club as well, and I think having a successful transfer window would contribute significantly towards that. You mentioned William Saliba, and that was something I wanted to discuss as well. He's come out and said he wants to stay in Marseille and play Champions League football. Is that an actual quote, or is this like newspaper?
It's been taken out of context. It's been run with. I get French Football News have really riled up the Arsenal fan base and used that quote out of context. He went on to say a few more things, which basically was like, I don't know what's going to happen. It was basically an answer that was like, we've got Champions League football at Marseille. I would be open, to coming back and playing there if it doesn't work out at Arsenal, basically. But it was completely taken out of context.
Don't they have a transfer ban, Tom?
Not yet. They've appealed it. So they still have the ability to sign players right now. It's like, do you remember when Chelsea and Atletico were handed bans? They appealed them and it was delayed. It's the same situation.
So they can go out and buy and then get the ban.
Yeah. That's exactly that. Yeah, they can do that.
Lev, I want to talk to you about this subject because I know you've always been talking about William Saliba throughout the season.
Yeah.
He's done superbly well.
Couldn't have done any better.
Yeah. So he's gonna come back now.
Is it?
You're gonna have Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Rob Holding. Okay. I'm assuming none of them will be sold. Where is he going to come in? Is he going to come in for you and start playing?
If we get Saliba back, and right now that's up in the air, but I will make a bold statement from now that if we get Saliba back and we give him a chance, he might not get in immediately because he's got Ben White and Gabriel as his partnership. But if we give him a chance and he gets his chance, I'm saying now he will be a starting centre back for Arsenal.
Okay.
And if I was to pick one that he would oust, he'd probably oust Ben White.
So you drop Ben White and you play, because I don't think Mikel Arteta will play three at the back. Can we agree on that?
But the options is good to have, though.
Yeah, it is an option good to have, but he's not going to do that. So you saying?
Yeah, because Saliba is a footballer.
I don't want to word it this way. I don't want to word it this way, but I have to mention this in this. So you saying basically you drop a £50 million defender who's had a okay season for William Saliba.
Harsh.
I don't look. He's had a decent season. Why? I do think
I said he's had an okay season.
He's had a decent season.
That's not what you said.
And also,
has he played like a £50 million defender, Lev?
Well, it's difficult, mate, because just because of his weight, and this is where I do stand up for players, and I'm not just biased for the sake of being biased. As a centre back, all right, it's not his fault what that tag is. All right, let's just say that we've paid 20 million over the odds because of English tax. So let's just say he's worth 30 million as a British centre back, right? If it wasn't the English tax that you add on, okay, I think he's done all right. The fullback.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Without the English tax, you said how much you would probably be worth?
You'd probably say he was worth 30
agree with that. I think if you played it for a 23-year-old from Europe, you'd probably be looking at 30 mil. I think that's fair.
And if you're getting a centre back from Brighton, and you know, let's be honest, I'd say 30 mil. I think he's got potential. I think he could still improve. He's a ball-playing centre-back, and that's what Arteta wanted, right? However, for me, Saliba is a better ball-playing centre-back. He's stronger. He's physically more dominating. He's quicker, right? I think there's more to his game than Ben White, and he's a better defender overall, in my opinion. Okay, so yes, if he comes in and he gets given a fair chance, he will oust. My thing is, I think he will oust Ben White, and it would be the logical one because he's the more ball-playing centre-back. So he would oust Ben White, and then you've got the physicality and the aggressiveness of Gabriel.
Do you agree, Tom?
I think that Saliba has the potential to be one of the best centre-backs on the continent.
Yes, generational.
Yeah, he's special. He's very, very special, but he's 20 still. There aren't many. Yeah, but this is centre back. This is a very different position. Centre back at that age, there aren't that many centre backs of 20 years of age playing at the elite level around. You look at Wesley Fofana, who of course was his teammate at Saint-Etienne, and I think that unfortunately is just kind of a situation that has gone against Saliba in a way, because there's been that easy comparison between those two, but there aren't that many across the continent. I mean, you even look at, say, players like De Ligt. De Ligt was a player that was ranked so highly at Ajax, went to Juventus, had a really good first season, but has still, had faced his challenges because he's still learning and he's still young. I think when you look at that position in particular, there are always going to be question marks at that age. And I think the thing with Saliba at Marseille this season is that he's shone really, really well at what he's really good at, which is what, as Lev says, ball playing, quick, recovery pace, confidence, all of these attributes he's done brilliantly. But defensively, there are still lots of his game that needs to improve. Consistency, decision making, positioning. I know sometimes he can drift a little. He can play players on side. He has made errors, and his judgment's not been quite right. That's how he allowed Moussa Dembele, I think it was, to get through for Lyon and score in the last few moments, and nearly costed them that Champions League place in the end. But things like that need to be improved. And that's fine because he's 20. Those things are going to happen. And I think that we just need to make sure that there's a route for him and that there's game time. And I think that will come at Arsenal. I think, we should probably move on from Holding. I appreciate him as a player, but I think we can arguably get better as a four quartet centre-backs. Saliba, Ben White and Gabba is a great three. I think we can add a fourth that's better than Rob Holding. I think we should be ruthless. I've said a number of times, I think we should go out and get Koulibaly from Napoli, 30 years of age, bring an experienced player,
good shout.
Really, really solid performer to be, a guide for those three. I mean, how great would that be? 25 million is the supposed fee, because he's only got a year left on his deal. So 25 is apparently Barcelona are very interested at that price, and I'm not surprised. But I think we should be going for a 30-odd-year-old, 29, 30-year-old centre back of a really good standard.
Saliba will learn a lot from him.
Absolutely. Absolutely we should be looking to add someone like that into the group. But Saliba, I think with Europa League football next season, though, that two position can be rotated. Saliba's versatile, he can play on either side, so right centre back.
But you wouldn't
he's got that number 2 shirt, hasn't he?
I mean, if it was a case of so Ben White starts for me at the start of the season with Gabriel, and Saliba plays, comes off the bench in the Premier League, starts the cup games, the Europa League games, and if he's outperforming White, you bring him in. The best players start, but I don't think Saliba comes in straight away. No.
I agree with you.
He's got the number 2. He's been given number 2 shirt.
We don't know if he's being given number 2 yet.
Well, apparently that's what's going on, and he bought trainers with number 2 on there, didn't he? Very quickly, Shaheen, can I ask a question?
About Eddie Nketiah wearing number 14? I've seen that.
I think he might still be in the squad next season. Very quickly before we go on to Eddie Nketiah, everyone's discussing this Ben White Saliba argument and who goes where and whatever, and I see people in the chats. But let me ask you this question: is Ben White starting for England?
No. In the back three, he does. Yeah.
Is he?
Right centre back.
Has he been picked to start yet? Has he been picked to start for England?
Yeah, in the last group of internationals.
Last group?
Once or twice, I think.
The last set of... He's only just broken into the squad.
Okay, what I'm going to say is this, though. Like, Saliba is a starter for the French national team. And that team has a lot of competition.
Is he, Lev?
Is he?
He's playing for them once, I think.
He's been called up the same times as your analogy for White.
And he's also been in the 11, top 11 for France, the French team, the final 11. Yeah, right.
Liga,
and
the Liga team of the season.
Yeah, and young player of the year.
The Liga team of the season. Yeah.
Young player. Yeah, I love the way we all laugh at League 1 and Farmers League.
I don't laugh at it, but it's just compared to the Premier League, mate, it is very different.
Right. The best players. There's been some of the best players in the world ever produced to come from France.
Talent production is brilliant. Yeah. But Liga, in terms of its level compared to the Premier League, is very different. Very, very different.
For me, I'd start Saliba. There you go. That's me. There you
go. Okay. Right. We're planning to do a show with Lev that we're gonna spend a detailed an hour and 15 minutes on the season on one pass, and hopefully Mr. Campton will be free to join us. We'll get one more guest as well. We'll do that at some point this week. Let me just go back on this poll that we've been running. So about 165 of you voted. 50% of you think it's a failure. 37 of you think it's not a failure, and 13% think, or 13% are undecided.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
I want to stop talking about football now and Arsenal and all of these things, right? This has been the last episode of the season, and we've done this every Monday at 8 o'clock.
Or Tuesday.
Yeah, sometimes Tuesday. And I'm sure I'll speak on behalf of Lev that I just want to thank Tom and Mo, especially, for being here every Monday or Tuesday and doing this show. And most importantly, I want to thank all you guys in the comment, people who've been with us from the start, and they watched us, and they've been with us since this show has grew, and it's been established show on Monday nights. And without you guys, it's nothing. It's a no show, you know. So I want to ask you guys to talk about your highlights of what reminds you of your best moment for the year of the show that we've been together.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I wish
you
you
guys
prepared me for that. That's really
you guys
mean.
can let us know in a comment as well if you remember.
Because you can't think of any.
No, I can think of a few, but they're all recent, and I feel like there's some really good ones from the start of the season that I'm forgetting.
Best and worst, yeah.
All right. Best and worst is when Shaheen blocked people. That's best and worst.
Oh, who was the guy? What was the guy's name that he blocked? What was the guy's name in the chat box? Do you remember?
People, man.
I don't know. He is a blocker. It's just that's what Shaheen does. It just was
it Gideon or something like that?
Gideon?
That really sticks in my mind.
Someone been reading the Bible recently.
So guys, let us know in the comment as well what you think. Dean has got a good shout here. Shaheen getting a dressing down by Mo a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was the season was over.
Shaheen's curtains. Someone has said on there.
Oh yeah. The amount of times.
Guys, can I just say, guys, can you please be nice to each other on the chat?
Well, who's been? Oi, it's
that
Matthew Doyle. That Matthew Doyle's called someone a few names I've seen. Oi, come on, you can't be calling people that, man. Shaheen.
Matthew, come on, guys.
Wait, Shaheen, can you get your blocking finger back in?
I'm going to give him a chance. Please,
no,
be
but
nice
he's called him. He's called him.
No,
he's
no
called him something really derogatory there, man.
Tom, best and worst moment.
You know that you guys have addressed some really harsh topics at times where I went a bit like this, when you were discussing them.
Is that your best or your worst?
So it was an entertaining moment. That's what it was. The number of times that we've got that Lev's got prediction wrongs, that's been great. It saved me 200 quid.
Anything for content, guys. I'll do it for the people.
Absolutely. When I predicted we beat Chelsea and no one else did, so I enjoyed that moment. That was quite good. And anytime me and Shaheen go back and forth about Martin Odegaard, they're always good highlights as well. So
I love winding Shaheen up in the background.
Hold on, guys. 1 second before you die. This is what I want to see. You give people a chance, but be nice to each other. League Gunner fanboys listen, League Gunner has got his own channel. He's got his own fans and everything. If you don't agree with something that his fans or supporters are saying, it's all right. We can tell them, but just be nice to each other. Stop calling each other names. That's the first thing we can do as a fan base. Be nice with each other, and maybe it will be stepping stone for better things in future. So let's be nice. It's long summer. Don't ruin your summer on Twitter with shitty arguments and this and that. Be cool. Stay calm. See what's going to happen. Be nice to each other, and then the world will be a better place. Peace, man. Peace.
He's been on the wacky packy.
No, I haven't, man. I haven't. I didn't get that, Tom. Best and worst.
It was all good until you started doing all that. Then it just went wrong.
Worst is where I've had to sat back and just let you guys do your thing. And then the best has been to be honest, I really enjoyed when Mo gave you a dressing down, Shaheen. To be honest, I thought that was great.
You know what? Funny thing about that dressing down is everybody else had the similar view to me the week before.
Yeah,
I don't know why I got it
well, to
from
be
Mo.
fair, another one was
he recorded that.
when Mo put a question into the chat about the timing of the contract being announced a few weeks ago, and he was like, and Mo said, he was like, "Tell me in the chat box if you think I'm right or you think Tom's right," and everyone was just like, "Tom's right," and he was like, "Oh.
Yeah, I remember that." And then he was like, "I don't know,
was quite good.
maybe."
That
I'm
was a good ego boost.
And you know how Mo's face when he's. I'm surprised. I know. Maybe
You're entitled to your opinions, guys. You're entitled to your opinion.
I like it when you read something. I like it when you read things out and you get them wrong. They make me laugh.
I know.
I think he did one
last.
He
doesn't read a comment before he reads it out.
What did he say last week? And he got it wrong.
I normally go like this, and I move on.
You said something, and it was just hilarious. But I saw Tom spitting out his drink when I said that. Those are funny. I like winding you up. That's funny.
No, it's not funny. It's fucking.
The worst
annoying.
the worst is when people on here go at each other and call each other nasty shit. And like some of the worst and best bits have been on our live reaction show, because we've had some great moments on the live reaction, but we've had some terrible moments too. So that's it really. But the worst was some of the performances we put in this season.
Yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah.
No, it's good. For me, look, the worst thing for me is obviously sometimes people just, I think they tune in and without knowing what was discussed before, they start writing shit on the comments. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know nothing about football. You don't know. Oh, you guys are idiots. You know, if you don't agree with something we say, that's fine. You can disagree. There's a lot of people in here that disagree with what we're saying, but they're never rude about it, or they say these things. And the best thing for me, and I mean this, it's just spending time with you guys every Monday at 8:00. People on the chat and people who you hear, because sometimes people go through difficult things in life, and just spending time on Mondays, for at least for an hour, your mind is taken off of things, and you talk about different things. And if Lev don't piss me off like usual, then it turns out to be a good show. And
that's half the content. Good if I don't piss
you
you off.
But the best thing about this, sometimes we've done these shows at the back of it, a really, really poor result, and you've kind of felt better after the show. I hope it's the same for everybody on the chats as well. But yeah, the guys are, listen, if I want to name people on the chat that they've been with us from day one, it's just, I have to go through quite a lot. But you guys have no idea how grateful me and Lev both are to you who watch us, give us your time, you comment, you help us, you take part in everything we say. You're honest with us. If you disagree with something, you put it on a comments. Sometimes we don't get to read everything, but we see it, and we're just very grateful for you guys being here.
Did I tell you I bumped into some of these guys on Friday?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Mike's Cancer for Gooners event.
Gooners v Cancer.
Gooners v Cancer. There you go. Sorry, Tom. Thanks for sort of getting that right for me. But it was a really good event. Lots of people there. Met the likes of Tom, those are the things you had to deal with. But then there were some really good things, like Dan Potts was there, Lee Judges was there. No, it was good to meet Tom, who wanted to keep telling me about how tall he was for some reason.
Well, Lev kept sitting down, so it was really awkward because I'm looking down.
He was always looking down at people.
Get the double chin out all the time too. I was looking down at him.
Anyway, I don't feel the need to try and express how tall I am because I'm not that tall anyway. But people that were there, Nick Paris was there. Great guy, Nick Paris. Half Greek, half Turkish, like me, my kids. Great guy, really, really nice guy. Had a good chat with him. Ronnie was there. It was just a nice vibe. It was a really nice vibe. And I hope that in the future, when more events like this happen, more you guys turn up, and hopefully when Mike does some more, or if we do anything, we'd like to meet these guys. And I think it's really nice. I've not been back to the ground since we started this channel.
Yeah, neither have I.
And
I used to go to channel. I used to go to Emirates a lot before COVID.
Yeah,
but since COVID, I haven't been at all. So
it'll
be really nice. We went to the protest and we met a lot of people.
Yeah,
they came, and there was a guy that I'll never forget him, man. The guy who came from Wales. for the protest.
Oh,
but,
so not because he's from Wales. I was wondering.
No, he came all the way for that, But it's been a privilege doing these things on Monday night with you guys. It doesn't mean we're not going to do anything from now until next season. We're going to do some transfer shows. Lev has got some plans. We're going to do another show, which we're going to go in details for the season. We're going to do player ratings. Tom hopefully will join us for that one as well. We get another guest on. Guys, I want you guys to say something. Tom, floor is yours, man. You say something to the guys who've been on the chat. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. Obviously, first of all, to you two for having me on.
Shaheen's idea, mate.
No, but genuinely, like when running your own channel, obviously you're putting across, you're doing the shows, you're asking the questions, you're reading the chat box and whatever. But actually, that the different dynamic of being asked the questions from other podcasts,
you're free to answer.
In a way, and I can swear on here. Well, I don't swear on TGT, so that's been a nice release as well because you don't care about that shit. So
cheers, you don't care about it.
So that's good.
But you're on at 8 in the morning though, so I'm sure you'll have loads of kids and stuff on.
It's not after the watershed, is it? Really? No. So it's got to be as sensible as you can. But no, seriously, it's been great, and the chat box, 99% of them, who you are, have been fantastic. And I think that there's some obviously great discussions, and we talked about it a second ago, and Shane did a very emotive speech about unity and peace and all of that. So and I think that's true. At the end of the day, we need to be more respectful of each other's opinions. If you don't agree with what I say, that's fine. That's why we enjoy this sport, because it divides and creates so much discussion. But you don't need to be arseholes about it. Like, it's as simple as that. Just respect what someone else has to say, and ends up having a proper decent chat usually when it's about the Arsenal. So, but yeah, again, thank you to you two for running the show, and appreciate your time. And
I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Oh no!
Yes.
What are you ready? Oh no! I'm definitely not ready.
Who's taller, you or Shaheen?
I mean, I don't. In my mind, it's not even a question. But for the sake of public record, in front of about 300 people and Lev, we're gonna carry on doing Monday nights next season as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I'm free, it's. Monday nights have been free for me, so I'm always up for it. If they put me on a silly shift 3 to 11 or something, then it'll be different. But every time I've got a Monday evening free, I'll always come on.
No, it's always been a pleasure having you on. Lev, you wanna?
Oh, listen, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the likes of Tom and Mo. I mean, I really like this show on a Monday. I feel like I'm just chatting with my mates, even though I despise Tom. But other than that. No, I don't. I love you. No, I really do. I think we've met some great people here. There's some horrible people, but we've met some great people too. And I consider, like Tom, Mo, Lee, all those guys, almost like my mates. And if I see any of them, I want to buy them a drink. And the same goes for any of these guys in the chat. Next season, if I'm at the Emirates,
he did buy me a drink on Friday.
I did, mate. I did.
Did he?
Wait, did he now? Mate, I got everyone a drink. We were celebrating that you wasn't there. If anyone else sees me at the Emirates next season, and you see me and you watch the show,
I will buy you a drink.
I will buy you a drink. You come, you say hello, man. Tell me who you are. I'll buy you a drink, mate. Yeah, that's it.
So, how many subscribers do you need to get to before you stop offering that out?
If there's more than a group of 3, then that's it, right? But no, honestly, I just love talking to Arsenal fans. I love talking to guys that watch this show. I can't wait to go back to the Emirates next season, to be honest with you. So if you see me, I'll be there with you guys, cheering the team on. Okay. Yeah, Goonapad said I bought him a drink as well. Yeah, Mike, yeah. That's Mike. Yeah, I did quite.
Mike. Say, hey, Tom, want to be on our show Monday nights at 8 p.m. Behave yourself, Mike.
I'm taking Mike. I'm taking. I'm sorry.
No, sure. Sorry, mate. Better late now. Better season late. But anyway,
300 people follow.
I'm gonna. It's gonna. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna miss not doing these shows from Monday. It's gonna be weird because it's
gonna be doing transfer shows. No.
Yeah, we're gonna do transfer shows, but this show with Mo and Tom is kind of part of my routine now, where on Mondays I know this is going to happen, and I'm going to miss it, and I'm already excited for next season and for this show to start again so we can sit down and talk about it. Levy's working on another weekly regular show, possibly on a different day, Wednesday or something. So hopefully we're going to be doing more next season. We're going to be doing better shows. We're going to do a show next season where it will be Lev. He will sit down and he will just go through the comments on the chat. He will put them on the screen. He will have a laugh with all of you guys, so he doesn't interrupt anybody speaking, and that will be a show. It was called Lev and the Chats. So yeah. Anyway,
like
as I said,
cracker.
yeah, well, I'm very grateful for you guys, and I can't thank you enough. Final word, Lev. I know we've been doing this for about an hour and a half. You're the older here, so I've been told to respect my elders. So
well,
you have
firstly,
We've done none of that.
Firstly, guys, again, thank you so much for following us, helping us grow this channel. If you know others that don't know about us, let them know about us. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like if you haven't liked. We're going to be doing a lot more for the new season. Got some new plans. We're going to jazz up the channel a little bit more. We've got some new shows on the way. But more importantly, I just love chatting football with you guys. So thank you for following us. Thank you for the 1 million views. Thank you to Tom. Thank you for Mo. Thank you anyone who's helped us along the way. And despite the result, whether I agree it is successful, it isn't successful, I'll always come on you fucking Gunners. I'm always a gooner. There you go. Anyone else want to say anything before we go? Is that it?
Just thank you guys. Have a wonderful summer. Stay calm. Don't go at each other's throat. Don't be disrespectful to each other. Whether you like different channels, different podcasters, different YouTubers, that's all right. We can all talk to each other without being rude and insulting towards each other. That's it from me, Tom.
That's it.
Tom, you have the final say.
Oh, thanks for tuning in this season, and you've been listening to the Arsenal Lounge.
Oh, very clever.